Hey guys, welcome back to another Cars on the Road custom series. Today's episode is episode 7, B-Movie. This is a big one. This one and I think the next one will be probably most hyped. I spent a lot more time and effort on these just because there was a lot more characters that I wanted to do. So I'll try to keep it as short as possible again, but let's get into it. This is I forget the character, but it was originally the Cars 2 racing fan. She was peach, like a peachish tan. Repainted it. Redid all the expressions and the details in like the headlights, the mouth. I changed the expression. The eyes are different because I wanted it to look like right as she's glancing over at McQueen for the first time. Made a headset out of one of the other characters. I don't remember which one it was now, but used one of the headsets off them. Cut it down to size, took the mouthpiece off, or the microphone off, and then just repainted it. So this one was actually one of the ones I've had trouble with, but I did here not too long ago. I probably finished it completely probably about 2 or 3 months ago. Been having issues with the red, trying to get it to blend in and look as accurate as possible. But that's Mrs. Bella Cadavra. This is the Pity. Again, I just repainted it. It was originally a Guido. I changed the expression, used some stickers from the plastic version for the windows. And then the clipboard is from a Cars 2, one of the Cars 2 scientists. I forget his name now, but he's the Mini Cooper, Nate Stanchion. It was in the Nate Stanchion and Jessica Geum Patrol 2-pack. So since I had an extra one of those, I was like, you know what? Needs a clipboard. You can't have the producer without the clipboard. She needs all of her notes. This was a Jackson Storm Next Gen Pity. Raised the suspension on it, repainted it. Oh, I just now realized that I'm going to have to fix that up. Wow, that sucks. Perfect case of unedited videos. Well, okay, so anyhow, I changed the expression, redid the eyes, had to use different eyes to match the eye color correctly, but repainted it, repositioned the forks so that he will sit right up next to the laptop. Another custom one-off from me. Used the wide tongue depressors or popsicle sticks for the base. Glued it all together. Drew the holes in it. I was afraid to try to cut the holes in it and then make it, crack it and break it, and then have to go through twice as much work. But it was originally a book charm. I just got it at Hobby Lobby. And then the decals are also from, I forget what they were from, but they were from another charm. So I just cut them down the size, marked them, put them in. You won't see it, and you don't see it in the episode, but you know, when you open it up and you see all of the details, it's kind of a nice touch to just kind of like okay, it's an actual computer and he's actually doing some work. Maybe that's why he's so grouchy. But there's those three. Again, this has a lot of different characters in it, so I will try to move through it as quick as possible. Don't know how long my battery will last. I did a Roscoe as the town sheriff. Hand painted all the details and the license plate and stuff like that I just left alone because, again, it's not something you see, so who knows. I redid the logos. This was actually from a label maker. I did this logo by hand as well as this one. This one, however, I just made from paint on the computer. Took a screenshot, matched it up, made my own custom light bar. It's a little differently than McQueen's on Deputy Hazard, but I think that kind of actually adds some character to it. I noticed some of the paint and stuff rubbing off on some of these, so I'm going to have to do a lot of touch-ups. This was one of the first ones that I did out of the... This one, however, was one I was tempted on doing, but I didn't want to ruin my Roscoe. I pretty much just went ahead and went for it. This was actually made prior to Doug Crankle's announcement of being released, which is why the brain is so different. Made out of those Nerf balls, steel stick, hand painted all the veins, redid the expression. This was actually a van from the first 2 Cars movies. I don't remember if he was in the third one or not now, but this was definitely the van from like Van and Mini. I redid the suspension, tacked it on with some epoxy so that he has that stance. I could have just done the regular sitting van, like where they're passing through him and they're putting his brain on. But even though these wheels don't turn, all these are for display anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I think it just kind of adds to the one wheel turns, I guess. But adds some definition and uniqueness to it. I redid the eyes and coated it with a yellowish, like a highlighter, so that it gives that yellowish tint to it. Painted in the mouth and the teeth. Spray painted it with a green satin. It was a type of military color, I can't remember now. And then I dusted it with a concrete finish to give it that little texture. Tried to offset the eyes a little bit to make him look more crazy. And then... what the heck. I'll go with it. Doug Crankle, everybody knows, is the wrong caller. And Disney Docket, this one's for you because I know how much you rant. Credit goes to him for all of the new releases and new announcements that are made, because he is, I think, one of the maybe the only, but he's definitely one of the YouTubers that he gets the announcements, and he's one of the only ones of the few that have it. So shout out to him. And this is because everybody is ranting about it, and I don't know anybody more than him that just kind of goes off script and just like, why, which we all kind of know why now. But this is the correct Doug Crankle. I did the exact same thing with the zombie van. I just repainted it, dusted it with the concrete texture, painted it with a satin green, like a forest drab. I think that's actually what it was. It was a forest drab. Repainted it, redid the eyes. I don't know how well the camera's actually picking it up, but the eyes have a little yellowish tinge to them. The mouth, everything's all still identical. The only thing I changed was the color, and obviously I painted in the windows. But I know you guys will probably go crazy on me for this one, but since I had to do that, and there was much debate with it because of how rare and hard he is to find, so I don't know if I'll get hate for this or not, but I wound up having to take the brain off, so that now if you want, you can interchange the brain with the zombie van. I would have to do some finagling around to get it to stay. But you could also, let's see, where's that? Oh, there we go. The other reason I decided to go ahead and make this next one is because of taking the brain off anyway. I made Mater with zombie brain, like a 2-piece add-on. Changed the expression, changed the suspension, moved some things around. Other than the exception of changing the base and the eyes and mouth, pretty much the same thing as all the others. I used a slab of wood and steel stick. Yes, I know it's not that pretty, but I wanted to at least have something so that it would be strong and sturdy enough that when you put the brain on, it ain't going to go anywhere. And it sticks on there for, like, it doesn't just wibble and fall off. So oh man, I think it looks better with the brain. Who would have thought Mater having a brain? I'm kidding. Who doesn't love Mater, right? Speaking of Mater, on to the next one. This was announced as a color changers, which is, I'm not going to lie, this one I made after I bought the color changers President Mater. Used the logo. I had to hand paint it all except for, oh boy, the logo. Presidential seal logo I just stuck back on. Same with the license plate. License plate was a sticker as well. So I used the tow hook, used some parts off of it, painted the other parts like the original engine. Just painted that, painted the mirrors, hand painted the lights back on. The only thing I didn't hand paint was obviously the blue. I spray painted it with a I forget the tone of blue, but I have so many different spray paints that it's just crazy. I can never keep track of all the different shades. Repainted the base. Oof, I gotta repaint that too. Kept the expression pretty much the same. So there's another one of the ones that's sometimes there's more to them than there is others, but you know, you'll have that. So this one is probably, I mean, I'm a country boy at heart, and I've always been kind of fascinated, as I've said in other videos, with the afterlife and, you know, the dark, mysterious, like, if anybody ever listens to dark country, that's it. So I thought, what better way to express that and bring out some of me than to do Gravedigger Mater. Hand painted all the wheels. Just laid down some satin brown oak and rolled it. Made the piles of dirt with steel stick and a needle. The expression I changed, tried changing, it didn't work out too well, but hand painted all the dirt. Hand painted the mirrors to make them more of the bronze. And then the shovel I used off of the Cars 2 Galloping Gear Grinder. I had to modify the handle a little bit because it was just a single stick. So I changed that, and I obviously did repaint it too to match the gold, bronze, tarnished, olden days country design. And then this last one, this is what steel stick from JB Weld is that I use. I always praise it and I always use it in my customs and talk about it in my videos. But I have to say, this stuff is just crazy. One of the things that you can do with it is, I mean, obviously it's meant for sealing cracks and fixing things and repairing things, but for me it's like, it's almost like big boy Play-Doh. And this is one of the things I did with it. I made the Nordic or Viking, I just call it Valhalla Mater. I used a steel stick to pretty much do the entire thing. It's all, every bit of it is steel stick. Handmade, hand sculpted. I changed the design of how he sits. Heated up the tires a little bit so that he has that same stance as he did. I used a nail and shimmed it down. Shimmed down the nail with a, same thing you would do with a wood turning table. I just shimmed it down with that. I put it in my Dremel and then took my blade to it and rounded it down. The jewels are actually little just plastic stick-on diamonds. I glued them on. But everything else is hand painted and hand sculpted. Hand painted the horns. Hand painted the metal, the tarnished bronze. All of it. I changed the expression of his eyes too, just to kind of give it that, so his eyes wasn't completely up in the air and half covered by the helmet. But this is actually, this weighs a lot. Every time I pick it up, I'm like, wow. It's got like twice as much weight to it as one of the semi die casts, just because this is completely solid. And this is one of the maters that they made completely metal from front to back, so he already had some weight to him before. But that's the price to pay. I mean, didn't want to do it hollow and then wound up coming to find out it wouldn't work, or it would fall apart. So I hate how much steel stick has to be used, but in the long run, I think, at least in my opinion, the results are worth it. So I think, oh shoot, I can't edit that out. Well, luckily that was the rest of them, so this concludes my longest one yet. B-movie. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about them, which one of these is your favorite, and we're getting down to the wire now, guys. There's only 2 more episodes. That's kind of unfortunate, but there will be more to come after that, so stay tuned and you will be interested to see the other ones that come out after episode 9, and plus the main, I always talk about it, the main centerpiece. There's a big centerpiece, there's a big single that I'm working on, and I'll let you guys decide what you think it is, and the only hint that I'm going to give you is it's episode 2. Lights out. So there you go, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.